side, I don't think that you can better it.
Hello again and welcome. We're delving into Cup history today. You've often heard about the magic of the Cup, a cliche for sure. But undoubtedly the magnetism of this great competition is so often induced by the possibility of an upset, the act of a giant killer. Bobby, you've been a victim.
Yes, I have. Norwich City about 25, 30 years ago, when we were riding high at the top of the First Division and we had to go and play Norwich in the Cup. I think it was the third or fourth round, and we lost 3-1, frosty pitch. Completely unprepared for what was going to happen to us. They took the initiative, they won every free ball, they took their chances, and we were out. And I've never been so ashamed ever. It was absolutely disastrous as far as I was concerned as a footballer. But one thing is that once you're beaten and humiliated like that in a cup upset, it does stand you in good stead for the future. And you make sure, if you can, that it never happens again.
Well, Bobby goes back to 1971 for a real classic, a result that so many of us will remember, and the teams that produced it, Colchester and Leeds United.
Round the back of the defence. Yes! Oh, what a save! And that must be one of the saves of the season.
Well, we have an old friend back with us, a man with a glorious left foot and an uncompromising tackle.
By Hunter. This certainly is no place for boys. Nobody taking any prisoners.
Well, he was a significant member of the great Leeds United sides under Don Revie and made a very positive contribution to the great run of success in the late 60s and the early 70s. If you fancied your chances against Leeds, you had to contend with Norman Hunter. Good to have you back, Norman.
Nice
you must have got to know quite a few referees in your time, I suppose, did you?
I got to know quite a few, yeah, over the years. It makes you cringe when you see some of those tackles that were flying around. I think we might have walked today, Dickie, for some of them.
But cup shocks, I mean, Bobby has talked about Norwich City, and you must remember, of course, Colchester United.
Well, I do, yes. We'd flown down, you know, being the big club in the First Division, and we got down there, and I remember walking on the pitch with Big Jack, and it was windy, pitch was bumpy, and I remember talking to Jack and saying, we've got to get stuck into these today, because it was one of those conditions and one of those days, Diggy, where if they got on top, as Bobby said, they win the first balls, get after us. It was a difficult game, and it proved so.
Bobby, you were saying that you had to run as fast as them.
Well, the one lesson I learned, especially if you were a Premiership or a First Division team, was that if you went in the FA Cup away from home, the one thing that you were supposedly was that you were better players. But if you didn't work as hard as them, then you can catch a cold. Yeah. You had to run with them, you had to run as fast with them, you had to be as convinced as them that you were going to win the match, and you had to run and you had to fight. And if you didn't do that, then you may actually be humiliated. But if you were in the right frame of mind, I didn't think there was anything to be afraid of going to play a lower opposition in the FA Cup, as long as you were mentally prepared for it.
But the fact that you and Jack had that conversation, did that not put you on the back foot straight away?
Well, not particularly, no. I think you look at, you're in the cup competitions and you know there's going to be a big crowd there. All right, it's been mentioned, we probably played on better pitches. Mind you, not Ellen Road at the time, it was like a mud bath. But the pitch was definitely in their favour, windy, bumpy. And I can remember the game starting, and for the first 5 minutes, we were hardly out of our half, and that set the tempo of the game.
Well, we're going to see that very soon. Let's have a look at the teams, first of all, that were involved in that historic encounter. Colchester first. Norman, let's tax your memory, shall we?
Well, it's not that good, but I can remember the lad, Cram, I think he came from West Brom, somewhere like that. I think he's got a famous uncle.
You've got a famous nephew, I think.
Famous nephew, he's the...
Sorry, wrong way, sorry, but he's got somebody famous in the... Garvey's the same. I think he came from Hull City. But the ones that I do remember are the forwards. Lewis, Brian Lewis, he had a big say in what happened on that day. And the lad up front who I was marking and Jack was, which Dave Simmons, a big, strong inside forward then. And then Ray Crawford, who really scored an awful lot of goals in his time at Ipswich, and he had several clubs. But he was the one that we were worried about, and as it turns out, rightly so.
Yeah. Bobby, tell us about the Leeds side.
Well, it was one of the great Leeds sides. I mean, every one of them are famous for what they did in this particular era. Great midfield players, Johnny Giles, Paul Reaney, Terry Cooper at the back, strong as anything. Norman, obviously, my brother Jack win everything in the air. Mick Jones, Alan Clark, great goal scorers. Peter Lorimer could score from any distance, was a terrific shot. And Paul Madeley there again, a very, very consistent player throughout the Leeds era.
Remember, it's a fifth round tie. 16,000 were packed into the Lair Road on the 13th of February 1971. If you need rounding, that was the year that the D became the P. Yes, we were introduced to decimal currency, and I've been confused ever since. We join the tie for the kick-off, and in the commentary position is David Coleman.
And Leeds are playing with the wind behind them. Final check on the referee's watch and with the linesman. And Jack Charlton ready to pump a high one straight away, being carried long, long way by the wind. That was Crown. Now Madeley for Leeds. Straight away working the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is Graham Smith. Simmons being outjumped by Hunter, but he was pushed. So it's a free kick to Colchester. Norman Hunter. And Leeds will want to press home the advantage of this almost gale force wind they've got in the first half. Taken by Brian Hall, hit by Lewis. Oh, that was well blocked. Crawford really got hold of that. Ray Crawford really hit it. So it's Bobby Cram with the throw. In fact, he's settled for Brian Lewis taking it. Hunter. Lewis. Cram. Charlton. Bates. Brian Hall for Colchester. It's Madeley, and Bates has been hurt, but Alan Clark going on. That will give the Leeds trainer, Les Cocker, the chance to come on. Jack Charlton's having a word with the referee. Obviously objected to what had happened then. Obviously got a rather painful knock on the head.
We're going to do it. And they certainly got actually right from the start, didn't they, Norman?
Well, yes, I can remember I give a free kick away. We'd set off in their half, and I'd give a free kick away, and then from then they put a lot of pressure on us, and you saw headers. All right, Big Jack was great in the air, great header of a ball, but they had Simmons and they had Crawford, and they were going to put the ball in there, and they were going to play and pick up the pieces.
Cooper. Madeley. And this wind really is going to be treacherous. And ball beat them all, but normally they would have timed their jumping better. Brian Gibbs. Graham Smith for the goal kick for Colchester. Hunter. This is Madeley. And trouble off the ball between Simmons and Hunter. And an open clash.
Norman, you're getting a bit of your own medicine there.
Well, I did, yeah. He was a big lad, Simmons, and rightly so. You know, if you get stuck into people, then you expect it back. But he, in the end, he has the last say because he gets the third goal.
And Bobby, I mean, they're really going to put that ball as often as they can right into that Leeds penalty area, aren't they, really? They're going to keep on thumping the wall at them.
You see, they would have expected to be humiliated. They're really underdogs. But the longer the game goes on and Leeds haven't done them any great damage, the more it just lifts their confidence and just gives them that little boost.
Lorimer with the throw. Cooper, Lorimer. Awkward. Clark! But that all went wrong for the defence because of the wind, and Clark was inches wide. Madeley penalised. Madeley claiming that Brian Lewis, number 7, made a back for him. captain Bobby Cram to take the kick. Sprague got the left, but he was lucky to get a second bite. He didn't make contact, but he was fouled. Gary Sprague, who on occasions has made rather odd mistakes, but rated by Don Revie one of the best keepers in the league, and certainly Leeds' defensive record from season to season supports that. There's Gilchrist. Cooper with the throw. Hunter looking for Sprague. Sprague to Hunter. Jones, policed by Garvey. Clark. Cooper. Goal kick. Number 3, Bobby Cram. The goalkeeper, Graham Smith. Ball hanging back in the wind. Won by Madeley. This is Jones. Madeley again. A cram for Colchester. It's Giles. 10 minutes gone and no score. Carla. Smith. Well, it wasn't much of a challenge by Laura, but the crowd didn't like it, but the referee waved it on. Hall. It's Lewis. Vaughn. Lewis. Vaughn. Is Jones here? And Sprague save Leeds then, with the defence absolutely sliced apart. It was a very neat move by Colchester. Leeds looked totally incapable.
Well, a good save by Gary Sprague. I mean, he had a dodgy start, but that was a good one.
That was a great save. What a great move that was.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't low division football, that. Good play, played out, good one too.
At pace as well.
At pace, highest quality.
Yeah.
That was terrific, yeah. They were very pleased that they didn't score there, Leeds.
Oh, it's awkward again. And referee's whistle's gone. Sprague didn't exactly inspire confidence at that moment. He may well have been pushed out. But no goalkeeper is going to like these conditions. On top of all else, it's bitterly cold. Gary Sprague not wearing gloves. Clark. This is Hall. Simmons policed by Jack Charlton. Charlton missed his tackle completely. And the ball ran very kindly for Leeds then, and in fact, the referee stopped play and penalised Charlton. Now, this free kick could be awkward because any ball in the air is a real test. Kick being taken by Brian Lewis. Sprague missed it and gets. Crawford got it.
One down, Norman. What do you remember of that goal?
Well, I can remember Lewis taking it, and I remember my job was to mark Crawford, and as it was knocked in, Gary started to come for it. Mine, yours, and then he left it. And then unfortunately, then Crawford had got away from me and scored.
In slow motion. Oh, yes. Indecision.
Well, it was a bit, and if you see prior to that, the free kick that was given, the lad Simmons, every time Gary got the ball, Simmons was after him in the air and everything else. And Big Jack, who'll give the free kick away there, just tried to have a little tap at him just to let him know that he wasn't supposed to do that.
Really controlled football. Hunter. Reaney. Don Revie and Les Clocker there will recognise that they've got an uphill problem because conditions are all against control. Crawford. Good Charlton. This is Cooper. Ball for Colchester. And a foul by Bates. Now it's waved on. It looked to be a bit high, to say the least, but the referee had a good view of that. That's the strength of the wind, thrown well over the halfway line. Cooper for Leeds. One for Jones to fight for. Marn, number 9. Colchester throw. And Leeds are not at all happy on this tiny pitch. It's very compact. There's very little room from the touchlines to the stands. They haven't been able to settle at all. Cooper. Carter. Gilchrist. He's cracked. Good ball. Gibbs. Crawford's there. Simmons. 2-0 for Colchester.
Ray Crawford was always going to be the problem, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, he was a goal scorer and he was looking for little half chances. Yeah. And he was brave. The ball came in from the right-hand side of the field. A bit of a speculative thing, but nevertheless, it just caused a little bit of a indecision at the back. A blockage, it fell down. But his instinct as a striker is, where is it? And he just sees it there, swings his left foot, and just has the little look that it actually hits the goal.
2-0 down at that point, then you must you know you're up against it.
Well, you know you're up against it, but if you look at it, they deserve to be two up. They're first to the ball, they're playing the better stuff. All we are doing here at the moment is just hitting long balls, and they deserve to be where they are.
Destroying Leeds football. It's certainly not destroying Colchester, but let's face it, have made their moves well and built up very nicely indeed. Play being brought back. It's a free kick to Leeds, and the players don't know. Well, Colchester are full of aggression, and they're playing their football well, they're working out their moves, and the conditions just don't seem to unsettle them. Reedy is still explaining to Cooper what went wrong as Giles took the kick and Clark there. The clock had returned that, there was no doubt about that. He was in space and he was unmarked. Colchester's trouble at the moment, they're so elated, the team, that they're losing a bit of concentration. Garvey. Hunter, this is Mark. It wasn't a bad try. And Colchester, unbelievably, seem to be yards quicker at the moment than Leeds. And they're separated, really, in the 4 tables by about 70 places. Cooper was determined to make that his, and that's a beautiful ball. Jones now leads with 2 against 2. And a goal kick. And Jones wasn't able to control that bobbling ball.
Bobby, 2-0, and Leeds trying to come back, and maybe a bumpy pitch, or maybe first touch, or what? There.
Well, they're, like Norman says, they're just playing so well, and they're quite prepared to take chances, probably more chances than they would normally do in the league position that they're in. They know that if they don't take a few chances, they're not going to be good enough to win. But they are taking them, and it's working. I mean, Garvey, with his left foot there, would never in a million years have had a crack at goal from that distance with his left foot. You know, but
against the wind.
Against the wind, missed the post by 6 inches, you know. That would have been 3. I mean, it's just, this is really typical upset in the club.
And certainly coaches are dishing out the medicine too, Norman.
Well, yes, they are. Well, it was their cup final, Dickie. They were up for this, weren't they?
Yes.
And we were probably the best team in the land, or one of the best teams at the land at the time, and they were not going to let us settle. They were not going to let us play. And their tactics were dead right.
Carini. Minute of injury time played in the first half. Bates for Leeds. Jones. There's Gilchrist who got the decisive foot there. Lewis, and a throw to Leeds. Lewis quite happy to waste time by kicking the ball away. A Cooper with the throw. The whistle will go any moment, and there it is. And Leeds are trailing by 2 goals to 0. The goal scored by Ray Crawford after 18 and 24 minutes, 30-odd years of age, has really shown himself in this first half to be a very, very good player still.
So Colchester United with an amazing 2-goal lead at half-time, and I wonder what Don Revie would have said in the dressing room, Norman.
Well, it wasn't the best, you know. He was not used to being 2-0 down, and I think he told us that we'd have to compete with them because, as we've seen there, they were first to the ball, they were aggressive, but also they were playing some good football. So we had to roll our sleeves up, forget that we were the best players, and match them first. And then, but unfortunately, we allowed them to score. I don't know, I think it was fairly early on in the second half to make it 3.
It's amazing that a First Division side of Leeds calibre hadn't actually got themselves up for that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't know what's in people's minds. It's a very psychological thing, the FA Cup, and if your mind's not attuned to it, you know, then you could get caught. Like Norman says, they are one of the top teams in the English league, you know.
Yeah.
One of the world's great club sides, you know. And it's a great challenge to all these young lads down there. They don't like being humiliated. They don't want to be humiliated, so they're going to give their best. They're going to take a few chances. They're going to be first to the ball. And if you don't match them and you don't compete, then you're in trouble. And that's what's happened with Leeds.
And you hadn't won the cup under Revie at that time anyway, had you?
We hadn't.
No,
we hadn't won it. But it's you could see what they were told. The big lad Simmons was told every time Gary Sprague caught a ball, you be there and you get underneath him and you upset him. And rightly so, because if it allowed us to play, Dickie, we'd have gone out, played a normal game, and then we probably would have run out comfortable winners. But that's the cup.
And you were a marked man too, it would seem. You were hobbling around and you had people having their names taken.
Well, it's part and parcel, isn't it? You expect that.
Well, we'll return to this fifth round tie for the second half in just a couple of minutes' time. And they'll go 3-0 up.
You're watching.
And welcome back. To remind you, Bobby and our guest Norman Hunter are looking back on a memorable encounter between Colchester and Leeds in the fifth round of the Cup, February 1971. A somewhat painful experience for Norman, but he's a strong man. The score at half-time, 2-0 to Colchester.
Colchester playing with a strong wind now behind them. This is Hall. And straight away they're causing trouble. Simmons was looking there for the ball coming back off Gary Sprague.
Exactly the same as the first half, Norman. I mean, they just got straight back at you.
Well, straight from the kick-off there, Crawford played to Crawford, and he knocked a great ball right out to the guy wide on the left. He took Paul Reaney on, and he got a great chance, knocked into the box, and that could have been, and that was straight from the kick-off.
So they've established their point straight away.
Well, there was the manager would have just said to them in the dressing room, you get out and do exactly the same. You're upsetting them, you're 2 up, you're in the driving seat, keep putting the pressure on. Don't let them come back at you and don't let them play.
Simmons. Bates. Currilla. Clark. Sticking hard at Clark. This is Cooper. And it's gone for a corner. The decision's a perfectly good one. In fact, the crowd probably didn't recognise the rebound, but no doubt at all about it. And that was why the goalkeeper made such desperate efforts to stop it. Well, Leeds have pushed 9 men right up for this. They've got to get back in this game. And that's Cram again. Cooper for Leeds. Turning into trouble. Crawford. And Lewis for Colchester. And Simmons 1 against 1 here. Simmons and Reaney. And it's there.
You remember that goal very well, Norman, don't you?
Very well indeed. But that, as I've said to Bobby, that's Simmons. That's what he was there for. He was to upset Gary. And on that one, it was knocked long. Gary started to come. He went back, and then he came. And then as you look at it, when he does come, he's colliding, because the distance that ball travels, he should be taking that. and then it's in the back of the net.
Well, the scenes are at this ground. Really, what can one expect? 4th Division Colchester 3, Leeds United 0, and no one can complain or quarrel about that not being a true reflection. In fact, Colchester have been good value for this throughout, and that goal was well taken. 54 minutes gone. Greeny, and what can Leeds do about this? Lorimer. Simmons. Is Lewis. Lewis prepared to juggle with the ball. He left Cooper, England's fullback, dead then. It's Madeley. And a goal kick. And such is the confidence now of Colchester that Lewis was able to take on one of the best fullbacks in the world, Cooper, and he left him standing. Curler. Gibbs. Smith. Hall, rather. Gibbs. Giles for Leeds. To Lorimer. Oh, there's a chance here for Jones. Is he good enough? Those are chances that you must just take. You just cannot miss them. Reaney. Crawford for Colchester, but Reaney again there to Charlton. Leeds ball. Bates. Madeley. Bates. And there are signs now that Leeds are beginning to buzz. There look to be really more urgency about their play. Jones. Cooper. Beaten by Lewis. What a bad ball. Now Crawford, and they all missed it. Bates. This is Mann. Bates for Leeds. Giles. Clark. Bates. Madeley. Now this is Hunter. Madeley. That's a corner, and one has the feeling now that Leeds have accepted at last they got a match on their hands. They're 3-0 down, and suddenly they're starting to happen. It's taken a long time for them to come to the boil. They've pushed 9 men into the 18-yard box for this corner, and Colchester have got 10 back. And it's there! Hunter!
I didn't realise that Norman could actually get up there that high.
He roasted that. I was quite a surprise, really. But two things have happened now in this game. Leeds have realised that the long ball is not going to work anymore. You have to start building up, and that's what they're good at. And they're starting to get a little bit more time and a little bit more space, because the second thing that's happened is that Colchester are tiring a little bit.
That's right. Did you know that you could actually get up that high, Norman?
I didn't really.
On the back of someone else, did you?
I never used to go up. I was only because Big Jack used to go there, you know, and I was always still stay at the back. But because of the situation, got a shout from the box, get yourself up there. And it wasn't what you call a powerful header, Diggy, but it crossed the line.
But the goalkeeper also left his goals, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He probably felt that he wasn't taking part in this match because he hadn't really had that much to do, had he?
Jones. Madeley. Right into trouble. Simmons. Lewis. Free kick to Colchester. Brian Lewis is giving Terry Cooper a fair amount of trouble. So Cram to take the kick. And with Crawford's head up front, Leeds can't be complacent. He miscated totally, he slipped. It's Garvey. Hall. Sprake's not getting any distance at all against this wind. This is dangerous again, Leeds caught. Crawford, oh, he'll not have many better chances than that. And this is Charlton for Leeds. And Crawford hanging his head. That's just the kind of thing he usually finishes so well, and that surely would have been the finish of Leeds then. Bit of spectator trouble in the background. It's Hall, Giles for Leeds. Gilchrist was in hard after Giles then. This is Clark. There the two of them clashing again. This is Maidling. Hunter to Cooper. Bates. Jones. Giles. Yes!
Now it's happening for Leeds, isn't it, Norman?
It was. That was a good goal. But we've started to play, haven't we? As Bobby said, they've run out a little bit of steam now, and we've started to play. But when you look at that, we've still quite a way to go. You know, we've 17 minutes left, and you would think, you would fancy our chances now, but there's one save in particular that I remember that the keeper makes, but you'd have fancied us to get a goal, but we never did.
Leeds have pulled themselves back into the match. Caravan. Reedy. On to Hall. Hall would be happy to waste time down there. This is Bates. Jones. And Colchester a little bit split. Jones has got Clark with him. But the cover's racing back. It's Clark. Each other then, Giles and Clark. It's Gibbs now, good ball. And Crawford. And this really is a cup tie, end to end. And Simmons caught break. It's Cooper. Canada. Hunter. Bates. Clark. Clark for Leeds. Lorimer. Yes! Just wide, and Charlton had the chance of the match. When I said yes, he had the space, he had the time. The ball was coming in the right place. And he really should have scored, and there are just 11 minutes left. If Leeds go out, Jack Charlton will reflect on that, I think. And Lewis for Colchester. Let Crawford chase that. It's Reedy, and Crawford here. And what a good save by Sprake. And Leeds now have to walk a tightrope of their own making. They've got to go forward, they've got to take chances in defence, and they can pay the penalty for that. 7 minutes left. And if that had been a goal, surely Leeds would have been certainly out. Lewis with the corner. This time purely orthodox. Crawford. And Norman Hunter's got a knock. In the 6-yard box. It takes a lot to disturb Norman Hunter. Les Cocker up there, no doubt saying, come on, come on. He's not going to waste any time in case the referee...
Norman, what's the problem there?
I just went over on my shoulder. I used to have a little bit of bother with the shoulder. I once landed on it and I knocked it out of joint or whatever. And it used to bother me from time to time. If I fell on it, I got a knock on it.
back to Cooper. Hall. Reading. Giles. Bates. To Giles. Charlton. Nice play. But he deceived Jones as well. That was a good piece of football by Charlton, but Jones had gone slightly the wrong way. 5 minutes left. 5 minutes for last year's beaten finalists and First Division leaders at the moment to save the indignity of being beaten by a Fourth Division side. Hunter back on the field, as you may have noticed. This is Reedy. Lorimer. Round the back of the defence. Yes! Oh, what a save! And that must be one of the saves of the season. Jones got to that. It ricocheted away.
It's, yeah, Bob, it's when you know your luck's out, when that kind of save happens just 5 minutes to go and you're looking for that one goal.
I think it looks as if it's Mick Jones. It appears to be Mick Jones, but Mick was saying afterwards it was their number 5 that actually played that. What he was trying to do, he was trying to get in front of Mick. And he just, and the way Peter Lorimer hit it across the goal, low and hard.
Brian Garvey.
And he just got a foot in front of me, and it flew at the keeper. What a save it was.
And the time is running out, Bobby, isn't it?
Well, yeah, there's short of time now. It's very difficult for a team like Leeds, you know, to be patient and to keep passing the ball and doing what they're good at when time's running out. Yeah. Literally, you've got to resort to knocking the odd long ball in, which is playing into their hands.
To Bates. And Leeds playing so much better in the second half. 3 minutes to save it. Clark. Jones. It's a goal kick. Brian Garvey shouting at the other defenders. And Colchester now being rattled by this constant Leeds attack. He's Cram, the captain. And Leeds must push him out up on this goalkeeper and not let him waste time. It was Charlton, experienced Jack Charlton, who recognised that. Hunter. This is Simmons for Colchester. Cooper to Hunter. Crawford challenging for everything. He's 33 or 34, and he's playing with the enthusiasm of a teenager. The referee is ignoring that. He's waving play on. Jones. A corridor to Cram. 2 minutes to go. Hunter for Leeds. Cooper. Madeley. And Crawford is still down and staying down, but nobody taking a scrap of notice. Madeley now to Reedy. This is Lorimer. And every tackle, every move by Colchester being roared on. Lorimer looking for Jack Charlton and Jones. That's Jones. Garvey was in the way. 90 seconds left. And Gibbs just pumping it anyway. Crawford's back on his feet. And that's Sprake to Hunter. And back come Leeds once more. Charlton. Here's Jones. Did well to resist that, and the referee's blown up. Free kick to Leeds. A minute left. The wall being pushed back, 3 and in, now 4. It's Giles, Hunter. There are 45 seconds left. And the Fourth Division side still lead by 3 goals to 2. But there is some injury time. Madeley was fouled, but the referees let it go. Kicked in the stomach. Well, there's going to be a considerable amount of injury time, and look at Les Cocker, the Leeds trainer. He sprinted on then. I would think there are at least 2 or 3 minutes of injury time in the second half. Terry Cooper to take the throw in. And Leeds in injury time. There's possibly 2 or 3 minutes of injury time. Just that sort of time away from defeat. Vaguely Tarini, but you can never tell with this Leeds side. They've certainly come back in the second half. Vaguely being harried by Simmons. Crawford now. And Simmons is streaking through the middle. The throw to Colchester. The referee under considerable pressure from the crowd who are blowing their own whistles for time. A minute of injury time been played. Crawford wasting as much time legitimately as he can. And Leeds must get on with this. Hunter to Cooper. Bates with the throw. And the whistle's gone. Leeds United are beaten. And look at the celebrations of this record crowd at Colchester. The police trying to stop them invading the pitch. And the police indeed have done a good job here because so many people are trying to climb the barriers.
Yes, a day the Colchester fans will never ever forget. Leeds getting the better of the half for the second half in terms of goals, but unable to stave off defeat. Let's hear from the triumphant manager, Dick Graham.
Dick, you're a man who says that he believes in football miracles, but this must be something that's happened today.
Well, I don't think it was a miracle. I think we earned it today, didn't we? We worked hard and we played very well today. I don't think it was a miracle.
I must say that no one could quarrel with the result, but no one could expect it in many ways either.
Well, I must say I was a little bit surprised to get 3 goals. You know, I was hoping we could beat them 1-0 or something like that, but to get 3 goals was marvellous. But we must give credit to this magnificent Leeds side for the way they controlled their game after we got 3 goals, and they came back at us, and we were chasing the ball in circles, quite honestly. And to get those 2 goals back, and then only that magnificent save by Graham Smith at the last few minutes, you know, really put us into the next round. What a crowd we've got, haven't we? You know, they really got behind us, didn't they? And they urged us on, and the tired old legs kept going. It was marvellous.
I think I said in the commentary that Graham Smith deserved a cup medal in his own right for that, because it was one of the best saves I've seen.
It was great, wasn't it? Yeah. I knew, when he saved that shot, actually I thought I said we won now, we're there now, because the team, I think, raised themselves on that particular save.
Well, let's just move on to Ray Crawford, the man who was doing the damage at the other end. Ray, I think you said in the grandstand interview at lunchtime that you've got this knack for scoring goals. You know, you either have it or you haven't got it. You've got it, and you certainly showed it again.
Yeah, well, I'm due one good game a year. Perhaps I had it today. But, you know, I do score goals against Leeds. I don't know why. It's 10 now in my career, so no more important than today.
Norman, it must seem a long trip back to Leeds after that result.
Oh, it wasn't such a long, because we flew back,
yeah,
but
the
dressing room was terrible. We couldn't really believe, and I think in that situations, you think to yourself, no, there's another, it's going to be played again tomorrow or something like that. You think you're going to get another crack at it, but in fairness, we didn't do ourselves justice first half. Second half we played, we knocked it about, but I think they deserved everything they got, and they didn't play sort of 4th division football. They passed it, the good goal scoring situations, and they deserved the victory.
As Dick Graham said, no miracle. They earned their 3-2 win.
No, not at all. And when it was 3-2, when Leeds had got it back to 3-2, you were watching it there, and they did still have the pattern at the back.
Yes.
You know, it was still difficult for Leeds to find ways through because there were enough defenders back there. So that they were well organised, even at that stage when you'd have thought maybe they would have panicked a little bit. But they didn't. They kept the cool.
But on a happier note, Norman, you went all the way next year, beating Arsenal in the final.
Yes, we had a few disappointments at Leeds United. We lost a few semis, but the gaffer always used to say every season, right, that's forgotten now, let's get on again, another season.
There's plenty of glory there at that time, wasn't there?
That's right, and I don't know what we finished that year in the league, but we were up there at the top. We'd have been in other competitions, so we were always involved in something.
Well, Norman, you have to thank so very much for joining us. Very good to see you again. I hope that we can count on your support next week at the same time. Until then, from all of us, goodbye.